Hi everyone, today I'll be showcasing my newest project called Genuine. This is my bachelor thesis project that I've prepared for my final senior year undergraduate year in my university. And as I'm about to graduate, what better way to do that but to release this project that has been in the works for quite a while. I've been conceptualizing a project like this for very long time, and now that I've done it, I want to showcase it. And this is a successor project. I want to just put this disclaimer in the start of the video. This is a successor project to my FinChat project, so that's why the similarities are present between them, because I've prepared FinChat as a basis for this project. But the difference between FinChat and Genuine is that this project actually leverages pragmatical theories to improve the chatbot's competence and performance, and that was what my thesis statement was. My goal with my thesis paper is to showcase how this project enhances the competency of a given fintech chatbot. Okay, so I'm not going to actually give too much detail in this video. As you can see, I've put all the documentation in this GitHub repository. I will actually go through briefly this, documentation here. I will also showcase the chatbot and how it actually can be used. It is live on my Hugging Face page, as you can see. You can access it also if you want to use it for yourself. It's very cool. You can just enter it right here and try it for yourself. I've actually had problem just a few hours ago. The generative AI wasn't working, and I realized that it was actually using an older Gemini model, so I just updated it. I'm gonna explain what this project is all about. I'm gonna give some details, and if you want more details, you can read this paper right here. It's not too rigorous, it's not too long. I mean, it is rigorous, but it's not too long. I deliberately kept it short because I was just explaining the project itself. Most of the development time went to most of the project's preparation time went to the development of the project itself rather than the writing process of the paper. I'm going to briefly go through this paper also, and let's go. What is this project? It's called Genuine. I like the word genuine, and I wanted to make this project's name Genuine. That's just it's just a personal thing for me, and that's why I called it Genuine. There is not much reason for that. I mean, there is a reason why I called it Genuine, because I made the chatbot more genuine, I guess. It's not disingenuous. This project was actually inspired by the recent developments in the banking industry, especially when it comes to digital banking. Because as you probably know, digital transformation is a big thing nowadays, especially with the rise of AI. A lot of the sectors, a lot of the industries have been leveraging AI in the recent years. I mean, no shocker, right? Everybody is acquainted with those technologies now. Like a person that doesn't know about AI nowadays, they are just like behind in life. So what I've decided to do is with this project is I was inspired by the recent, like I said, recent developments in digital banking in particular, and what the digital banking firms have been doing is that they are integrating generative AI into their rule-based, more of like a deterministic digital banking assistants, chatbots in the recent years. They are not only using deterministic paths, their chatbots not only uses deterministic paths, but now they have generative capabilities, especially like Ugi from Garanti uses that, and some others also use that. So my idea was, I was always had this idea. I was going to develop this project from ground up using Raza, and Raza allowed me to basically create the deterministic side of the chatbot, because this chatbot has two pillars. It has a hybrid architecture. It both leverages more of like a deterministic path that's actually just Rasa, and I've also added generative AI functionalities in the form of Gemini API and some other, not some other, just Gemini API LLM and retrieval augmented generation functionality. And that's what allowed me to integrate pragmatical theories into this project, because I've had some data sets and documents that generative AI just uses to infer information and fine tune its responses, especially generative responses. I'm gonna get into that as well. So, but first, what is pragmatics? Pragmatics is basically just a sub branch of linguistics that tackles the language use, basically how you use language. And I've had three theories in particular. I think they are present in here, in the pragmatics and fintech chatbots section. I've used three pragmatic theories for this thesis project. And the first one is speech acts. The second one is Grice's maxims, and the third one is the politeness theory. By using these three theories, I was aiming to improve the performance of this chatbot in digital banking, in the digital banking context. And I'm not going to go too much into detail. Like I said, you can just read this paper and you can do your own research also. I've had classes such as discourse analysis and other more of like social linguistic classes in my university years. In my university, in our departments, I've had these classes. I've studied them, and I was inspired to integrate these theories, and I was really ecstatic to be able to do this in the form of this thesis project paper, and also this project called Genuine. And that's how it basically works. It both leverages rule-based systems, and it also has generative functionalities, which is basically where it shines. It excels at using generative functionalities, especially because that's where the majority of the fine-tuning that I've done using RAG and also other documents were also implemented using our RAG. And by doing this, I was able to create more of like a seamless experience for users. And I was going to just aiming for I was aiming for more of like to negate more of a verbose responses that can be given by these chatbots, also especially when it comes to AI. Like AI tends to just linger on and on and on. They just like give long responses, and that will be too much of a headache for users, especially in the banking context. You want you want clarity. You want chatbots to be clear, especially when it comes to the banking. This is a very sensitive topic for banking firms and users as well. You're not having a conversation with your friend, right? You're talking to a chatbot in a banking context, and it's very important for users to have clear information being given to them in a very clear manner. And when it comes to banking, there is like these issues with confidentiality, with issues with security. So that's why like most of the banking firms nowadays, they not only rely on rule-based systems, they are now integrating generative AI to their chatbots, but they cannot only rely on generative AI to give users responses in their applications, because that will create too much of a risk. Like you can't just give your database to the AI and expect the AI to give responses to users. That will just be a huge security risk. So you still need some sort of rule-based deterministic system that has just basically just decision trees, and that's why I used Rasa. That's basically a decision tree architecture. It's not, but I'm just giving it as an example, as a metaphor. It just has a deterministic path that you can actually create in the Rasa system. I'm not going to go into detail, like I said. That's how I did it. And you can see In the paper, I've explained how it all works. It's a short paper. It just explains how, not Raza, genuine works. It just gives details on pragmatics and the theories that I've used, and I've used some simulated data to showcase how it works and how it functions, how it performs, and everything like that. My references are here, and let's try it out for ourselves, shall we? So let me just pull up my document here. I'm gonna ask some questions. So here's the chatbot. Here's the initial interface. I've used Chainlit to do this, and it is live on Hugging Face Spaces, as you can see. You can try it out for yourself. The link is in the genuine projects GitHub repositories about section right here. You can click on this link and you can try it out for yourself, and I'm going to showcase it right here also. This chatbot is only for Turkish. It doesn't work for English as far as I'm concerned. I've never tried it, but I've developed it using only Turkish in mind, so I believe it will only work for Turkish. So let's try using it. So when I say hi, it just gives this very polite responses, pun intended. It's a reference to politeness theory. So let's ask, who are you? And it will say, I am Jen, and that's the name that I've given. And this character is not, this is not a glitch. This is a deliberate, character choice. This is called schwa, just as a, design principle that I've just, put it right here. I thought it was cool. It says, I am Jen, and everything like that. And you can take, even like the other, banking chatbots have functionalities such as taking action in behalf of the user. So using chatbot, you can get information about your account, your, credit score, your other stuff. You can, apply for certain stuff in your, digital banking application. Whatever you can do, you can take action. Not only just like have a conversation, but you can use the chatbots, banking chatbot, to take action in behalf of you. So that's also one of the functionalities that I've implemented using Raza. For example, if I say I want to send money, it will prompt me to give more responses, give more context based on what I want to do, and it will take that action, and that's all coded in to the system. And I will say, send 5,000 liras to Enis. I'm gonna send myself 5,000 liras. Yeah, that's what I'm doing. And it wants to verify that whether or not I want to take this action. I'm gonna say yes. Yes, I do. Oh, I'm not gonna say yes. I'm gonna say evet. Yes. Wait. Yeah. Here we go. And it says, yeah, the transaction have been successfully done. And as you can see, it has a feedback button here. What this allows is you can actually give feedback based on the responses that you see, and you can say, oh, this feedback, let's say, like, you can say this response have been polite or whatever, or it was too direct, or it was too long, or it was just enough for me. It was just in the middle. You can give responses. I've added this functionality also. I think it's very cool. And I've added this based on what I wanted to achieve with this project, because I want to know that what users think about the certain responses that the chatbot gives, because collecting data is very cool, right? We all know that. So this is the deterministic path. This doesn't have any connections to the actual generative AI functionality that is built into this project. It doesn't use the Gemini API right here, because the responses that was hard-coded to the Raza detects the user text if it already exists in the system, and it can take deterministic path, the rule-based path. It will do that. But if it detects that the question that the user asks is more of like a general banking inquiry, it will realize that, and it will initiate the generative response functionality of the project. And let's ask, what is interest? And it will prepare the response here, as you can see. And as you can see, it says üretken Jen. Jen is the name of the chatbot. And this is just like the generative AI functionality. I denoted it so that the users know that this is the generative AI speaking here, taking action in this format. And this is the name of it. And this response is created using, like I said, Gemini API mixed with the documents that I've uploaded and I've, leveraged. And those documents actually tell the generative AI how to give responses based on the pragmatic theories. And this is all just, based on my, thesis statements and what I wanted to do with this project. And as you can see, it gives response based on the, this response, this whole response is fine-tuned on the basis of pragmatics, the pragmatic theories that I've implemented, so that the response is not too long. It's just right enough for the user. And this is what I wanted to achieve. So like you see, I'm very happy about the results. You can also try it out for yourself. And I will really, really, really appreciate if you give some feedback about this project to me. You can email me. You can see I have the email right here. I have my references. I will put this explanation video right here when I upload this project. You can just send me an email if you have any suggestions. If you find something that you don't like and you want to tell me about it, you can just send me an email. And that's all. You can go through this whole document and read it for yourself. You can read this thesis paper also for yourself. And I will really like I said, I will really appreciate if you give me some feedback. That's all I have. I really appreciate that you took this long, took this time to just watch this video and care about what I do. I really appreciate that. And that's all I've got. And yeah, this has been genuine. And I am Enistuna, and you are whoever you are. Have a great day. Take care.